my goats. Notes, my goats. Notes, my goats. Welcome back, everybody.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Notes My Goats podcast. I am Brandon.
And I'm Steve.
How's it going, buddy?
Not bad, man. How are you?
Good, man. Good. It's middle of January, early-ish part of January still.
Yeah,
so
we're still in the second week.
Still in the second week. We're hitting it up, man. Good first week of January though for our podcast, though. Fire week. Yeah.
It was good. We hit a little bit of we got across the border a little bit. We talked to Mikey. Things got a little weird, but that usually is what happens.
Absolutely. But it's all good. It is all good. So Steve, we got something fun planned today, or at least something.
Yeah, we got something planned.
We got something planned today. So what are we talking about today, my man?
So today was fun, man. I looked at like our first 4 podcasts that you and I are doing this month.
Yeah.
We had 4 M's. We had Megan Trainor last week.
Yeah.
We got today's. We got, and then the next 4 weeks, the first 4 weeks of January are all M. They start with an artist that starts with an M.
Oh, that's fun.
So that being said, man, we are actually going to go out to the thrift shop, and we are going to go to Seattle-based rapper Macklemore and his album The Heist.
Yeah, we are.
So that's happening, man.
That's happening.
And I listened to this album again, and I still like it. I don't know. It's weird.
All right.
I think it's a good album. It's fun. So Macklemore, before I get started on Macklemore, how familiar were you with him?
I'm going to pop some tags. Only got $20 in my pocket. Pretty much.
Just thrift shop? Maybe can't hold us?
Thrift shop, can't hold us. Yeah, that's about it, though.
Okay. All right. So Macklemore's given name is Benjamin Hammond Haggerty. He's an American rapper. Originally, actually, his original name was Professor Macklemore. I thought that was kind of fun.
Yeah, that's fun.
Professor Macklemore. Collaborates with Ryan Lewis frequently. Now, the album we're going to do is actually his first one with Ryan Lewis. He's been active since the year 2000. Big break was the song Thrift Shop, as Brandon just said, and on the Billboard Hot 100, it went number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100 in 2013. It was the first song since 1994 to hit number 1 without major label backing.
Oh, wow.
So Macklemore is mostly an independent artist. I say mostly, we'll get into that in a second here.
Yeah.
His record contract is actually pretty unusual. If you guys aren't aware, most of our major artists that are out there have a record contract where they make pennies. They make shit compared to their music they put out. They have no control over their music. The label owns it. They make literally, when I say pennies, I mean almost literally pennies on your purchasing of their music, listening to it on Spotify and whatnot. Like Spotify pays these major artists less than a penny per listen.
Right.
You know, and it's really shitty how it happens. I do subscribe to Spotify. I pay for a subscription only because I can get all the music I want without having to pay for it individually. But again, if an artist comes to your town and you like them, go and support them. Buy their stuff on their site, buy their merch on their site, buy their tickets. That's how they make their money, through merch, ticket sales, and side ventures like NFTs and things like that.
Absolutely.
If you can do that to help support an artist, do that. Listen, like it, they'll like that as well, but these independent guys need you. Now, Macklemore's record contract, how I said, is unusual because he actually only pays Warner Brothers Music a small percentage of profit from singles that he uses them to promote.
Okay.
So they only get paid a small percentage of the music that they promote for mostly radio. So if Macklemore puts out a track, this one was, The Heist was kind of special. This is where this really started. He gets a great portion of the proceeds of the profits that come with the song being played in the radio.
Yeah.
Because Warner Brothers helped get him into more radio stations, he gives them a small percentage, and I think it's under 15%. Of the money. So it's widely unheard of. It's flipped the script on these record companies because usually the artist gets a small percentage and then they get most of it.
Yeah.
So he's got 4 total albums. He's got 2 solo on his own and 2 with Ryan Lewis. 35 singles total between all 4 albums. He's won 4 Grammy nominations. He's won 4 Grammys. He won Best New Artist. best rap album, rap song, and rap performance. Rap song and rap performance were both for Thrift Shop.
Okay.
Rap album was for The Heist, and best new artist was same year. It was for The Heist. This
Wow.
2015.
Wow.
Now,
Hmm.
personally, now Macklemore in his music, he mentions this as well, but his personal story, he does mention that he battled substance abuse issues from a young age, from teenage years.
Yeah.
He did get clean in 2008 and stayed that way except for a few slip-ups. If you guys follow this guy on social media and you're fans of him and his journey, he is not afraid to tell you when he's fucked up. He did during COVID, and he came out and said, yeah, during COVID, I slipped. I'm back, but I slipped. And it's a hard struggle. Those people that fight drugs and alcohol,
Yeah.
it's a hard struggle to keep yourself on that path and on that wagon.
Absolutely.
And he's an artist that keeps continuing down that path and is a role model for those who do it constantly.
Yep.
And is willing to tell them and tell everyone publicly, which is very fucking hard to do.
Yeah.
That you made a mistake, did something stupid. Now he is seen as that role model because he's so vocal about his struggles and his failures and his wins. He's also this is fun. He's also part owner of the Seattle Kraken.
Oh.
And the Seattle Sounders. Sounders are the
baseball
soccer.
team. Oh, soccer. Oh.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. He is part owner of the Kraken and the Sounders. It was actually him and Marshawn Lynch are both part owners of the Kraken.
Oh, that's cool.
When they announced the Kraken, the Seattle Kraken, which is the NHL team, was coming to, which is one of the best names ever for a hockey team. I don't know. It's
Absolutely.
awesome. Their logo is pretty cool too.
Their logo is pretty sweet.
When it was announced that they were coming to Seattle, him and Marshawn Lynch, Beast Mode, both bought on, and they're both part owners of the team.
That's awesome.
So I thought that was really cool.
I thought
that was cool when it came out, but I was like, yeah.
Right.
So a dude loves sports. He loves Seattle. He is synonymous with the 12th man crowd at Seahawks games. When the Seahawks won the Super Bowl, he was there. He's a huge Seattle sports fan. Everything Seattle. Dude lives, dies, and breathes Seattle sports.
Oh, absolutely.
Now, Brandon, we're gonna go to popularity.
Yep.
So a guy was super popular back in the mid 2010s.
Yep.
Where do you think he gets now? What do you think he averages for Spotify listeners a month?
Oh, 7 million.
Man, you are not doing good with this for the start of the year off here, man. He is 24.2.
Oh my gosh.
Listeners, 24.2.
Oh my gosh.
He tripled you, man.
Yeah, he did.
Speaking of tripled, we tripled our listens last year. Look at us. So The Heist was released October 9th, 2012. It's a debut album for Macklemore and Ryan Lewis as the duo. It was their first one. It's 15 tracks, 64 minutes long. Written, recorded, produced, and released by the duo with no mainstream assistance until after Thrift Shop came out. And then they signed that small contract with Warner Music to help them push the singles more.
There you go.
Recorded from 2009 to 2012. Singles were released as recording. So there was a few singles on here. There's 5. And really, as they recorded them from 2009 to 2012, they just dropped them. They didn't just hold them back because they were doing it by themselves.
Right.
They didn't really promote it. They promoted it that way, but didn't promote it like normal. Thrift Shop actually was their 4th single. So that one hit really hard. It was number 4. It was like the drawing board. You got this one hit. Holy crap.
Right.
Thrift Shop itself actually was number 1 in 18 countries.
Wow.
When the album actually came out, it was number 2 on the Billboard 200. So when the Heist dropped, it hit number 2. Again, this is an independent artist.
Yeah.
Number 2, it sold 78,000 copies its first week. Do you know what the first what number 1 was? We actually have done this album.
2012.
2012. It's hard. This is a hard one for you.
Give me a genre.
Folk.
Yep. Mumford.
Yeah, it's Mumford & Sons. Babel.
Nice.
Hey guys, come back in a couple of weeks where we talk Mumford again.
Yeah. You said folk, and I'm like, all right.
We've only done a couple of those.
Yeah. Nice.
Well, then a couple of folk albums.
Yeah, true.
We got more coming, but 2 actually coming relatively soon here.
Yeah.
So the album does have 5 singles, as I said before. Singles were released in order here. Wings was the first single. Can't Hold Us was number 2. Same Love was number 3. Thrift Shop was number 4. And White Walls was single number 5.
Okay.
So again, 5 singles on a 15-track album. Not too
Yeah.
bad. About a third
No.
of them were singles.
Yeah.
And those are all pretty good tracks going there. So
Absolutely.
that being said, Brandon,
Yes.
we talked about Thrift Shop and Can't Hold Us. Those are the 2 tracks you kind of knew. Have you
Yeah.
listened to this? Did you listen to this album before today? Like before this podcast?
Yeah.
You listened to the whole thing prior, like not even prior like to your recording, but like
Yeah.
when it came out in
When
like
it came out, I
2012.
listened
Did
to
you
it.
listen to the whole thing?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep.
We'll talk about the end if your opinions have changed.
Okay.
Okay, what was your favorite track?
Can't Hold Us.
Nice.
Track was a banger in 2012, and it's still a banger
Still is,
10 years.
dude.
Still a banger 10 years later. I was
That's gonna be
jamming to this one and grooving to the beat of this one. Oh, so good.
That's gonna be a jock jam.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, it is, but it's gonna be like a jock jam in 20 years still.
Yeah. That or on a Kids Bop.
It's already been on a Kids Bop, I'm pretty sure.
That'd be pretty sweet.
I'm pretty sure they've done it.
Yeah. The added brass during the bridge added another level to this track that just made it more saucy and fun to groove to. This is the type of track. This is that hype track of 2022 or 2012 for sure. And still feeds on that hype. So for me, Can't Hold Us was my favorite track, man. What about you?
It's kind of the hype track for like the early 2010s, like that.
Yeah.
For 3-4 years there. Same Love.
Oh.
This came out 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And it was controversial.
Mm-hmm.
10 years ago.
Yeah.
If you guys aren't familiar with the song, it tackles the concept of gay marriage, inequality.
Mm-hmm.
And not just gay marriage, but I mean, that's the biggest thing, but mostly equality, equal rights.
Yeah.
Let me repeat that. This came out 10 fucking years ago, and it was controversial.
Yeah.
If this song would have dropped tomorrow, it would still be fucking controversial.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a problem with this song because of the topic of the song, because you don't believe that people belong and deserve free and equal rights, fuck you. 100%. I don't give a shit if your religion says something else. I don't give a shit if your mom and dad told you something else. Your grandpa and grandma can go fuck themselves too. Telling someone they can't love who they love and they can't be who they are because it offends you and makes you feel bad is a piss poor way to live your life. If that's you, thanks for listening. Now go the fuck home. In 2023, equal rights are back under attack. Marriage. The ability to call a significant other your significant other. Whether that be a woman marrying a woman, a man marrying a man who wants to be a woman who wants to be a man, is back under attack. And each side of the argument is going to say the other side is fucking crazy. We, as a group, are fucking crazy. I've said this before in this podcast. If you're not familiar with the date or the podcast, I can tell you which one it is. It was recorded on January 6th, 2020. Or 2021? Yeah, 2021. January 6th, 2021. Just about 2 years ago. It was the Fugees. You find yourself at a rally, at an event, watching something on TikTok, being a part of a live on social media where you're railing against someone because of who they love. Get ready. Because in 25 or 30 years, your kids are going to see all of this news coverage and they're going to ask you, Mom, Dad, what were your thoughts on this? Problem is you can't lie. Put all your fucking thoughts online. You put everything out there for the world to see. You can't say, oh, I was just a kid. Oh, I didn't know. You fucking knew. It's been too goddamn long for you not to know. Our nation is not beholden to the Christian faith, and it shouldn't be. Press play. Don't press pause. This track still hits me in the heart because it's still something that we have to talk about as a fight. I'm not in the LGBTQ community. I'm an ally. I'm a friend. Love who you want. Doesn't impact me. I don't care. Be happy. You being who you are is not going to impact my views on religion. Not going to impact my views on life. Not going to impact my views on how I raise my children. Be who you are. That's it. Mary Lambert's solo on this track is absolutely heartbreaking. And right now, you may find yourself disagreeing with me. Just know you're wrong. And history will prove that you're wrong. Love is love. It's not for us to choose for someone else. As a society, we need to keep moving forward. We need to keep fighting for human rights. Not my rights, their rights, human rights. Our country is so fucking far behind on that. We're treating people like actual humans instead of what makes you feel better politically, socially, religiously. Fuck your feelings. That's what I got.
All right.
You didn't know that was coming.
I did not, but
And that was all written.
I let you go, man.
I gave you the seatbelt. I gave you the seatbelt moment.
Oh, is that what that was? Oh, I didn't quite know if that was the seat. Oh, I thought that was something else.
Yep. Pop the seatbelt. Let's go.
Got it. All right. I love it. So I wasn't going to insert my
It's okay. I know where you and I know where you and I stand.
For sure. All right, guys. So after that
take a break.
Oscar monologue, Oscar-winning monologue, guys. It is time.
Will Smith.
It right. Get your wife's name on her boyfriend's mouth. Anyway,
I love it. I love it.
All right, guys. It is time for the thrift shop wang.
Yeah.
Let's play wang. Let's play wang. Word association and game.
You know, there is actually a funny story. As I'll go a little bit lighter after yelling at everybody for a good solid 3.5 minutes there. I don't care. There's a pallet resale place in Grand Rapids that sells like
giant pallets,
or just like Amazon returns and a lot of stuff, and they sell just different packages you can buy. And you buy a whole pallet for like $500, and you get a bunch of weird stuff on there. Almost always, I have 2 friends that do this, and almost always they get some sort of sex toy.
Nice.
Or like sex doll. And at one point, my friend got a pallet, and almost a whole pallet of nothing but dildos.
Wow.
And she wasn't even sure how to sell them. I was like, I can do that for you.
Sure. Right.
Like, I'm about to go Oprah on this bitch, and you get a dick, and you get a dick, and everybody gets a dick. And so, I mean, I would definitely mark them down and go thrift shop wang.
There you go.
So that's what I reminded me of. Is
I like it.
You think of anything wang, I'm like, oh, dicks.
Right. All
Perfect game. Perfect game.
Right.
What you got?
All right, buddy. So I've got 2 for you. You have the track list pulled up?
I got them all, man.
All right, here we go. So, if you guys don't know what the word association name game is, guys, I have taken 2 tracks from this album and I am word associating or phrase associating or adding and subtracting things to kind of give Steve a clue as to what a actual track I'm talking about. And Steve has to try to come up with what track that is.
And you can go a
So,
lot of ways with these ones.
absolutely. So, guys, Steve, here's my first one. Let me try again.
Victory lap.
Ooh, I like that, but no,
It's starting over.
it is. It is starting over. All right, Steve. I feel like this next one, you and I will very much appreciate this one just a little bit. I know that I do. Chunky Curve, Steve, is your next clue.
Chunky curve.
Chunky Curve.
I do appreciate some chunky curves.
There you go.
I get a good handful and just go to town.
Just all right.
Burgers, right?
Yeah, is that what you're talking about?
Good
Steve?
handful of burger. Yeah.
Yeah, good. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I mostly eat sliders though. I can't eat a whole burger.
There you go.
It is Thin Line.
It is Thin Line, Steve. It is very much Thin Line. Bravo, sir. Good job.
Thank you.
All right. So, Steve, now we got to work on those least favorite tracks and tell the folks what our least favorite tracks are. So,
Got it.
what's your least favorite track?
My least favorite track is Bon Bom Bom.
Okay.
And I think it might be one of your deep cuts or something. I don't know. It's because of what it is. I picked this track because it's one I skip all the time. It really shows. So if you guys aren't familiar, Macklemore and Ryan Lewis. Ryan Lewis is the DJ or the producer, music person. He does all the music stuff. Macklemore, Ben, is the lyricist. Ryan Lewis isn't doing the lyrics. He isn't really rapper, singer on this. He may add some stuff in from here and there, but it's not. That's not his job. This track really shows what Ryan Lewis can do without much from Macklemore, since it's all instrumental. It really feels like an intermission in the album or like a chance to breathe. It's not bad, but I just picked it because I skipped the track like 75% of the time.
Okay.
And just me, what is I don't know. What about you, man?
Thrift Shop.
Okay, not surprised.
Was my least favorite track. The first thing about this track that really annoyed me was when he acknowledged the little kid and then kept repeating what. I must have overplayed this track when it first came out because I really did not see this track like I used to. I loved this track when it first came out in 2012.
Oh yeah.
So good. And to its credit, it does have an okay beat, but the concept of this song is just not quite there for me anymore. So Thrift Shop was my least favorite, unfortunately.
I don't hate that because it's an overplay thing.
It is an overplay thing.
And it's 10 years old. So it's one of those things where you look at tracks from 10 years ago and they don't stand the test of time. Now this one is entertaining.
Yes.
You hear it from every once in a while. It's not like Can't Hold Us, which is a banger.
Right.
And there's other ones on here that are good.
Certified bangers.
That will stay.
Yeah.
For good, and they're just because they're good. They're not kitschy.
Right.
Thrift Shop is this song you make to sell an album.
Yes.
You make the album good to keep everybody intrigued. I think it did that. But I agree with you. It was overplayed all hell. Imagine if there was TikTok during this time. Holy jeez.
Oh, it would have been. Yeah, it would have been nuts for sure.
So I can't fault you there, man. So it is time for our second game, and it's one that I don't normally do. It is the old William Shatner Poetry Slam time.
Ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, this is Shatner's Poetry Slam.
Oh, all right, Steve.
And I promise I'm not going to give you something weird.
Okay, good.
I'm going to be good with the game this time, and I'm going to be something that's good.
Sounds good.
All right, ready to go?
I'm ready.
All right. I'm going to start with the second line because I feel like the first one gives away pretty quickly. That the people decide to walk with him, regardless of pitchfork, cosigns I've jumped. Make sure the soundman doesn't cock-block the drums. Let the snare knock the air right out of your lungs. And the words be the oxygen. Just breathe. Amen. Regardless, I'm going to say it.
Neon Cathedral.
I feel like I got signed the day I got an agent. Got an iTunes check. Shit, man, I'm paying rent. About damn time I got out of that basement. About damn time I got around the country and I hit these stages.
Starting over.
I was made to slay them. Nope. Song title. I'm so damn close I can taste it. On some Malcolm Gladwell, David Bowie meets Kanye shit.
Make the money.
Mm-mm.
Oh man.
I'll give you this, and this is 2 lines and you'll get it.
Okay.
This is dedication. A life lived for art is never a life wasted. 10,000.
10,000 hours.
10,000 hours.
Yeah. All right. Nice work.
The first line is I hope that God decides to talk through him. It's the very first line of the album.
Oh yeah.
So I'm like, I can't do the very first line of the album. Like
I get it.
It makes it easier.
I get it.
All right. So that was number 1. Let's go with number 2. This one I think may be a little bit harder, but I don't know. I was 7 years old when I got my first pair.
Cowboy boots.
Nope.
Oh shit.
And I stepped outside and I was like, Mama, this air bubble right here, it's gonna make me fly.
Wings.
Yep.
I like it. Nice work. I
I
like
like
it.
that track.
Yeah,
I like
that's
that
a good
track too. It's
That's a
not
good
in my deep cut or anything, but I like that track.
For sure. For sure. Now let's go. Speaking of deep cut tracks, Steve, let's get into it. And you are 100% correct. My deep cut was Bomb Bomb.
I knew it would be.
For sure. Smack dab in the middle of the track. So if you're only familiar with a couple of the tracks and haven't heard this album in full, then this track would have definitely slipped your radar for sure.
You might not realize it's an actual track. You might just think it's like at the end of something.
That's true. Yeah, or like an interlude piece, either at an end or at a beginning to a track. Absolutely, 100%. Like Steve, you mentioned earlier, 100% instrumental being led from the piano, which is beautifully done. But the added sounds of nature and quote unquote random objects kind of makes this track an interesting listen for me. Without any real lyrics, though, for me as an instrumental musician, it does allow the listener, and what I did, to really close their eyes and just paint that picture in your mind of what you're seeing with your mind's eye.
Sure.
So for that reason alone, I would just say, you know what? Take a listen to this track, see what you think. Close your eyes, see if you can paint that picture and what that picture looks like. So for me, Bomb Bomb was my deep cut. So what about you, man?
So I went with Neon Cathedral.
A great track.
So this is another one that's I'm not gonna yell. Don't worry, I'm not gonna yell anybody this time.
Yeah.
I got that out of me already. This is one that hits me a little bit differently, and I think it hits everybody the same way because it is something that's really difficult that we all deal with or have dealt with. Alcoholism is something that has affected friends, relatives, neighbors. Every single one of us knows at least one person, or potentially they are themselves that person, who deals with alcoholism on a daily basis. It affects more than 3 million people yearly in the U.S. alone, and it's not a curable disease. It is labeled as a disease. And those of us who have family or have dealt with it in the past will agree it's a disease. It's not something you can just give up. The track dives deep into the feelings of alcohol and the feeling that an alcoholic gets when battling the urge to the drink and break that path. The backing track takes nothing away from the lyricist, which is great. It allows really Macklemore to tell the story without really overshadowing it. So I loved the fact that Ryan Lewis gave enough on the back end to really sell the track, but he didn't overshadow, he didn't overpower it. He does it on a lot of these tracks, a lot of these albums. So I love Neon Cathedral. I love the story being told. I love the fact that we're able to kind of hear it almost firsthand from someone who's living that life on a daily basis. So I was 100% on there. So that was my deep cut, was Neon Cathedral.
I like it. All right, Steve, let's get into our final thoughts. I'll start this one out. We'll end it with you.
Sounds good.
So there are a handful of tracks that are good for this one, and there are a handful that are decent, that either provide us with a good beat and groove or overall good, solid lyrics. And then there are others that are just straight trash, in my opinion. This album is long, and for me, overall, unenthusiastic. About halfway through this album, I started getting bored with it, and really just was trying to find something else to listen to, and was kind of checking on when this one was going to be over for me. It's weird because I really enjoyed this album a lot more 10 years ago, 11 years ago, than I did now. This guy is a lot of white boy rapper and says a lot of words, but I'm not entirely sure understands or empathizes with some of the lyrics that he speaks. I think some of it he does, but I don't know. Could just be me. I don't know. I also think that the album was poorly constructed overall, as a whole. Too much going on with too little pizzazz. It really seemed like Macklemore, in my opinion, was just trying to do a bunch of different things in hopes that they would stick. Some did, most didn't, in my opinion. It's a middle of the road track or album for me. I'm actually gonna give this one a 4.5 out of 10.
Okay.
So that's why I wanted to start first. So now you can go and tell me why I'm wrong.
Well, there's a few things. Your opinion is valid. Having this guy on my radar since, prior to this album coming out, so 2010s-ish. I wasn't there from the ground level. I knew who he was. 2010, 2011. Things kind of popping out, hearing some stuff, and you're like, okay. But I was also bigger in the independent scene.
Sure.
an old guy, but I do have friends that work in the music industry and kind of hear some stuff here and there. And I like listening to up and coming artists because you never really know what the next big artist is going to come from.
Yep.
Except for now, I'm too fucking old to do this shit. I still have hard times with new stuff.
There you go.
But 12 years ago, I was mid-20s. It was easier. The album isn't phenomenal or groundbreaking in any way. It's not. It is entertaining for me though. I feel like it has a lot to offer as well.
Right.
Having read more about his story and the talent that he does have to share the story in a relatable way to reach millions of people is something to not shake a stick at. Because what he sings about with the abuse, the drug abuse, the alcohol abuse, the growing up poor, the different things with social issues, he's experienced most of those. I would say many of those he's experienced and continues to fight on a daily basis. Even though he's gotten somewhat famous, I think he's like B level. The music isn't clean, but it also isn't like hip hop, thug hip hop either. It's catchy, and I feel like him being a white rapper catches a lot of shit for it because he's not Eminem.
Yeah,
he's not NF.
Right.
So he's not going to get you lyrically where you're going to be like blown away without having to be thuggish like NF is.
Yeah.
And he's not going to fall into typical like hip hop categories like Eminem did. So I feel like when you're a white rapper, it's like almost like being a woman in almost everything. If you're a white rapper, you have this incredibly deep hole already because you have the word white in front of your title.
Yeah.
And if you take yourself seriously to fight your way out of that to prove that you're not a white rapper like Eminem did, then you put yourself on this bigger pedestal so you can get knocked off of it. You come into it like NF and having everybody believe he's the Christian rapper, which takes him like 15 levels deeper being the Christian white rapper. He's got 2 in front of him.
Right.
Not good for him, but he had the talent and the ability to really push his way out of that and say, no, let me start here and work my way up. Whereas Macklemore comes at it from, dude's got talent, but he's kind of like the class clown kid.
For sure.
He's kind of like a Lil Dicky, who took it a bit more serious.
Yeah.
I think his vibe and lyrics are on par with Dave, if not sometimes a little better, sometimes a little worse, depending on what kitsch he wants to go with that day.
Sure.
He sells. Your criticism of the album and how it's constructed and how it was kind of all over the place is fair, but I will remind you this was an independent release, and it was released. How it was released and constructed was something that these 2 guys were debuting and not really sure how the shit was going to work.
Sure. And
they had one track that really took off, so they front loaded it a little bit and got it out there so people would buy the album, would get there, and you would sell it. And as an independent artist, to sell as many copies as he did and have 3, 4, 5 singles come off of it, I can't shake a stick at it. But I do see what you're saying. The production value is good, but how the album is constructed is bad. The one thing to him is I couldn't figure out why he was so hated. Do you know Macklemore's like one of the more hated artists out there?
Did not know that.
He's one of the more hated artists because in 2013, 2014, when he won those Grammys, he beat Kendrick Lamar for best rap album and best rap song.
Interesting.
And he probably shouldn't have, but they called it like, oh, the white guy beat the black guy.
Got it.
And he got a lot of shit from the rap community for that, which is where a lot of the hate from Macklemore came. In the public eye, because they believe he should have won. It was more of a nepotistic win, was a racial thing. Which anytime you do something and you're super duper fucking popular, which the Grammys are a popularity contest. You guys didn't know that's all a popularity contest. It's really what you've done for me lately. And Macklemore sold a shit ton of albums and Kendrick didn't.
Right.
Kendrick's album, 100 times better.
Yes.
But is what it is. I just want to know one thing before I give my rating. Everybody was so up in arms about Macklemore beating Kendrick, but why didn't Kanye jump up and break everything up and say Kendrick should have won?
That's a great question, Steve.
I mean, where the fuck was Kanye?
Right.
We need more Ye.
Right.
He's actually full Kanye at that point too, wasn't
He
he?
was.
So I will say rating for me is a 7 out of 10. And I don't usually, if you guys are new to the podcast and you stayed, hey, thanks for staying. After my rant to start us off here, I don't normally do that. At the beginning, usually if I do it towards the end, I usually I lure you in and then like bait and switch you.
Yes.
But I was feeling the fire today.
Yes.
So you're gonna get that from time to time from me. If you're new, hey, if you've been around for a while, those are sometimes some of your favorites of mine generally. It's just kind of who I am. So if you take it or leave it, I'm not gonna change. Brendan told me I don't have to change anymore, so fuck you guys. So that being said, I went with a nostalgic 7 out of 10 on this one. There are some tracks that I could do without. It's long. It's a hip hop album.
Mm-hmm.
Almost all hip hop albums are long. I don't know why. They just are.
Yeah.
I like hip hop. I'm a big fan. And he's got a couple of them on here that I'm like, you don't really need to have that on there, but I get it. I understand. So
for sure.
All right. So 7 out of 10 for me. Did you find your joke?
I did. So this comedian Dustin Nickerson says Kanye. This was back when Kanye was in the news, in early December. Mm-hmm. Dustin said Kanye is going to be disappointed when he realizes which religion Jesus was, and I commented, which is hilarious. And then I commented with, which I thought was a really great tag to that joke. I said, soon he'll be calling himself Yahweh.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, that got the most likes and laugh reacts. So I feel like I won the internet that day.
There's a win there. Yeah, you got one on the internet. The internet liked you.
Yeah.
I like that. That's
for a quick minute for sure. Anyway,
we all have those moments. And the internet usually hates me, even then I suck it back in for some reason. I don't know how I do.
Right. Well, okay. Another side note, quick. Did you see what a friend of ours posted to his wife that Hallmark movies Hallmark is now working on creating a Christmas movie with a second plot?
No, I did not see that. Is that your
Anyway,
neighbor?
down the road and around
Yeah.
the block.
Yeah, that one. Okay. I
Yeah.
did not see that. That's funny. No,
That
that's
is
great.
funny.
No, I'm right
Anyway.
there with you. So,
Anyway.
guys, this has been Macklemore's album, The Heist.
Yes.
We both feel a little bit differently about it, but it's over 50%. It's a nostalgic listen if you remember this one from the early 2010s. If
Absolutely.
not, you haven't listened to it before, check it out. I recommend giving it a good listen because it's one of those history albums. Like, it's like
For
this
sure.
was really big for some odd reason 10,
Yes.
15 years ago.
Yes.
Why? And then you're like, oh, 2 or 3 of these tracks really still hit.
Right.
Most of them don't, but okay.
For sure.
So, but let us know what you think. Maybe I'm completely off base with my rant, and if you feel that way, hey, hit us in the comments. I'll have a conversation with you on the internet because that's always a great place to have a conversation.
Best place to have it.
It's the best place ever. And then if not, hit me up on the socials. Any of the socials, I'll chat with you anywhere.
There you go.
But that being said, guys, you can find us. Speaking of socials, on Facebook and Instagram. The Facebook. Holy shit, I'm old. I fucking did that. Oh god, I
You
can't believe
did.
it.
That's funny.
Oh, check the box. I'm old. Facebook, you can find us the North Goes podcast. Check out Nate chomping on the record there, and on Instagram, it's the North Goes Pod. Also on Twitter, it's North Goes Pod. We are on Twitter. Yeah, we are on Twitter. I don't know why we are. We very rarely post on there, but TikTok, North Goes Pod. We do post on there more often than Twitter because, again, fuck you, Elon. And email us, northgoespodcast@gmail.com. Send us fun spam emails. Brandon loves those. And coming up very shortly, we are looking to start putting stuff on YouTube. Keep an eye out for that. It'll start popping up soon. Last thing I have for you is whatever podcast platform you found us on today, be it the big ones, the little ones, whatever it is in between, give us a rating, a like, a follow, whatever you can do to help spread the podcast to friends, family, coworkers, acquaintances, that girl you slept with last week. Who the fuck cares? I'm talking to you, Mikey. No, not Mikey. Sorry, he's got a girlfriend. It was that guy you slept with last week. Sorry.
Oh my gosh. He'll have a good laugh.
He'll have a good laugh. And then have some conversations.
Yeah, right.
She doesn't listen, as far as I know. Maybe she'll start. Don't share this one with her, Mikey. We're good.
So I shouldn't tell you that we have at least one listen in Tasmania.
Was it when Mikey was in Tasmania? Hope so. If not, Mikey, when you're in Tasmania, hit us up.
There you go.
So share us with friends and on there, even if you're on just the Facebook. Fuck, I did it again. If you're on Facebook or Instagram, share our posts. Help us out. Help us get more followers on both of those social medias. That'll help us grow. Our goal is to get over 10,000 more downloads this year. We want to do over that this year to eclipse over 25,000 total as a podcast. I'd be fucking shitting chickens if we actually hit 25,000 single downloads in 2023. Literally shitting chickens. Yes. That's exactly what's going to happen. So, guys,
I can't.
North Goes Podcast. This is Macklemore, The Heist, and we are going to be
man.
shitting chickens in 2023.
Notes, my goats. Notes, my goats.